Hello and welcome back to this YouTube channel. So today we have to take up the seventh part of current affairs of Indian economy. Today I have a different colored slide, so I would see how does it work. As if you are the first time visitor of this channel, so I have something to say to you guys that from the 1st of July we are going to set a new we are going to set a new initiative which would contain the static portion of all the subjects which are required for UPSC. Then we would take up the daily quiz which would take up 10 to 15 questions related to static portion, related to current affairs and previous year questions, and daily analysis every day from the 1st July. So stay with me. I would recommend you guys to just subscribe if you are looking for the UPSC 2025. So I think you are at the good place. About this initiative which we are running from last 1 month, if you would see my channel, you could find there that I had already uploaded the current affairs, almost every topic I had touched in regarding the polity and governance. Then I uploaded for the international relations. Now it is the turn of Indian economy, and in this is the seventh lecture, or I would say seventh part related to its current affairs. Today we are going to touch up at least 10 topics, and you know, as I always say, right now it is not the time to describe every topic in detail, as this is not the purpose. I assume that you are already well aware about the static concepts. So the purpose of this video is to deliver the information as much as possible which you can get and which may be useful for your exams in the coming time, when you have your prelims. So with regard to that, we are going to discuss today's first topic, which is the domestic gross domestic product, GDP estimation in India. As we know, if we will explain, if we would try to understand the GDP in the layman's language, it is the we could say that it is the overall, you know overall monetary value or final value of goods and services that a country produces for a financial year, or within the time frame. It may be quarterly, it may be half yearly or a year. मतलब कि एक साल में एक हम ऐसे we would define it like this: in 1 year phase time we would say how much a country has produced at the end of the year, what is the final monetary value of all its goods and services. So this is how we define gross domestic product, GDP of a country. So this is we won't go into the detail. We won't touch the inflation part. We won't touch the other related concepts to GDP. We would just focus on the news, what was it, and what the writer wants to discuss here. As we could see here that the Ministry of Finance it issued the clarification regarding the ongoing debate around the accuracy of the April to June 2023 GDP data. There was a huge high and cry about the GDP data produced during last year in April and June. Many people they varied their beliefs regarding the data which was produced. So Finance Ministry they issued the clarification regarding that, as they mentioned that India recorded real GDP growth of 7.8% during the April-June period of 2023-24 as per the income or production approach, the highest in the past 4 quarters. This was the highest from the last 4 quarters. It was on the back of double-digit expansion in the services sector, which forms 56% of the gross value added. So from here we get that the most growth we saw in the service sector. Then also the critics, which they argued that these GDP figures are inflated as they do not accurately reflect the impact of inflation on GDP growth. One of the drawback of the current way we measure the GDP, for example, the current way of measuring the growth of nation's income is the current, the one of the main drawback of that is we don't include the inflation in it. It is not that it does not define the inclusivity. It does not define every aspect in it. It just shows how much growth it has achieved. There may be inflation involved in there. It may be there may be inequality in growth. It does not define it. It just shows the growth. So this is one of the drawback of the GDP. So in this regard, the critics argued that these the figures which we saw, which we are seeing here, that they are not, they are kind of misleading, that they had not included the inflation part in it. Moving forward, there are three ways by which we can draw the this GDP. One is product value added method, then second is income method, and then third is expenditure method. In product value method, what we get net indirect taxes plus consumption of fixed capital, net value added in the primary sector or at factor cost, then net value added in the secondary sector at factor cost, then net value added in the tertiary sector at the factor cost. So this is one of the method. Then we have income method. It does include net indirect taxes, consumption of fixed capital, compensation of employees, then operation surplus, rent, interest, profit, then mixed income of self-employed. Then in expenditure method we have private final consumption expenditure, then we have government final consumption expenditure, gross domestic capital formation, and net export of goods and services. So these are the three ways by which we can get to the GDP number, and these three ways what we get the number, they should be almost equal to each other. About GDP calculations approach, as we saw in the earlier slide, let's discuss about that. Here we could see that there are three approaches to calculate the GDP of a country. One is production or value added approach. It sums the value added at each stage of production, where value added is defined as the total sales less the value of intermediate inputs into the uh, production process. Then we have income approach. It measures the total income earned by the factors of production, income earned by all the factors of production in an economy, includes the wages paid to labor, the rent earned by land, the return on capital in the form of interest, as well as corporate profits. Then in expenditure approach, we have this measures the total expenditure incurred by all entities on the goods and services within the domestic boundaries of a country. So these are the three ways by which we can get to the GDP. Also about the present GDP calculation methodology in India, we have income method. Government of India follows the consistent practice of using the income side estimates to compute economic growth. We have real and nominal GDP. The Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation calculates calculatory gross value added at constant price, real GDP, and current prices at nominal GDP. Then we had GDP deflator. The GDP deflator, also called implicit price deflator, is a measure of inflation. It is the ratio of nominal GDP to the real GDP. By this, I think you should be very well aware about the real and nominal GDP, how we find it. One where inflation is added and one where inflation is reduced. The ratio helps to show the ratio show help us show the extent to which the increase in GDP has happened on account of higher prices rather than an increase in output. Nominal GDP does not take inflation into account while the real GDP does. As I already said, this is the reason that nominal GDP is more often higher than the real GDP. What are the challenges with the current GDP calculation method? We have accuracy of the data. The GDP calculations depend on the accuracy and credibility of the data, available data. Outdated data in various sectors of the economy provide an inaccurate picture of the economic activity. Also in India, the GDP results declaration cycle runs for 3 years effectively. The accurate data for an financial year comes through after a lag of 3 years. Then also accounting unorganized sector. Presently, GDP computation methodology uses data from the organized sector as a proxy for the unorganized sector. Then we have exclusion. Not all productive activities is included in GDP. For example, unpaid works or like works performed in the home or by volunteers, and black market activities are not included because they are difficult to measure and value accurately. Also, now moving to our next topic, it is cross-border payments. So, with this regard, there might come a question in your prelims, and that with which country we had initiated such cross-border payments. Usually, in this regard, we should know that recently our deal with the UAE, in which we have this what we can trade in our we can use our current our own currencies while trading. So our UPA is working there. So with this regard, we would discuss about cross-border payments and all the stuff related to it. As we see, G20 Tech Sprint 2023 was organized to promote innovative solutions aimed at improving cross-border payments. G20 Tech Sprint 2023, it is a joint initiative of the Reserve Bank of India and Bank for International Settlements Innovation Hub. So such questions may come in the exam. This G20 Tech Sprint, it is an initiative of which banks or which countries, they may ask it like that. So we should know that it is initiative of Reserve Bank of India and Bank of International Settlements Innovation Hub. Also, the G20 nations, they have agreed to promote cross-border payments as outlined in the G20 roadmap for enhancing cross-border payments. Further, on the sidelines of the G20 summit, India has proposed to expand its presence for cross-border bill payments in the UK through the Bharat Bill Payment System. About Bharat Bill Payment System, it is a type of transaction that takes place between financial institutions, business, and individuals, where the sender, about cross-border payments, it is a type of transaction that takes place between financial institutions, business, and individuals, where the sender and recipient are based in separate countries. The cross-border payments market value is estimated to be 190 trillion in 2023 and expected to reach 290 trillion by 2030. What common types of cross-border payments we have? International wire transfers involves the sender providing their bank with instructions to send money to a recipient in another country using SWIFT codes to transfer from one bank to another bank in a different country. Then we have digital wallets using products such as PayPal, Google Pay, or Apple Pay, suitable for small transactions. Then we have international monetary orders, for example, paper-based payment methods that can be sent through the mail or transmitted electronically using a third-party provider. Then we have credit card transactions. Business can accept payments from customers in different currencies through accepted credit cards. Then we have cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin and Ethereum, or decentralized digital currencies that can be used to make cross-border payments. Here we have mechanism of cross-border payments. In the first diagram, we could see the simple cross-border payment using accounts held at each bank. So this is the international banks hold accounts with each other, enabling banks to make payments in foreign currencies. Then we have cross-border payments using a correspondent bank. So about this course, this question may be asked. This in your preliminary, that correspondent bank, it is related to what? We should know that uh, here uh, banks not having direct relationship transact via an intermediary, correspondent bank, it acts as an intermediary. Steps taken in India for strengthening cross-border payments. We have RBI Payments Vision 2025. One of its focus areas is to bring ease in cross-border payments by using bilateral and multilateral arrangements. Then we have NIPL, NPCL, International Payments Limited. It has undertaken various initiatives across nations to enable cross-border acceptance of BHIM UPI or QR at merchant establishments. Then we have currently Beam UPI QR. It has gained acceptance in Singapore, UAE, Mauritius, Nepal, and Bhutan. Also, RBI has allowed access to unified payment interface to foreign nationals and NRIs visiting India by enabling them to make payments using UPI while they are in India. Also, India UAE Memorandum of Understanding on use of CBDCs for cross-border payments. RBI and Central Bank of United Arab Emirates have signed an memorandum of understanding to conduct pilots to test central bank digital currency transactions for cross-border payments. Also, the revised principles were earlier adopted by the OECD councils at the ministerial level in June 2023 about organization of for economic cooperation and development. We should know that it was earlier known as the Organization for European Economic Cooperation, which transformed into OECD in 1961. Its objective is to shape policies that foster prosperity, equality, opportunity, and well-being for all. It has 38 member countries, and we should know that India is not a member but is a key partner to it. So, in this slide, what did we understood? We should know that it is about the corporate governance. As we can see that the G20 OECD revised principles of corporate governance were endorsed at the G20 Leaders Summit in New Delhi, and also G20 OECD principles of corporate governance are the leading international standards for corporate governance. So these principles of G20 and OECD, they are the leading principles for principles of corporate governance, and also the principles underwent a comprehensive review in 21-23 to update them in light of recent evolution in corporate governance and capital markets. And also we should know that the revised principles were earlier adopted by the OECD Council at the ministerial level in June 2020. About what is this corporate governance? It is the system of rules, practices, and processes by which a company is directed and controlled. It essentially involves balancing the interests of the company's money stakeholders, such as shareholders, management, customers, suppliers, financiers, government, and the community. So, it's the system of rules, practices, and processes by which a company is directed and controlled. So these are the rules, practices, and processes. And it essentially involves balancing the interests of the company's money stakeholders, such as shareholders. So their interests are balanced, whether it would be shareholders, management, customers, suppliers, financiers, government, and the community. Core principles of the corporate governance are accountability, transparency, independence, integrity, risk management, and shareholder rights. About the framework of corporate governance in India, we have the Companies Act 2020, 2013. The Act dictates the provisions in terms of board meetings, audit committees, disclosure requirements in financial statements, the constitution of the board, and related party transactions. Then we have SEBI. It is a regulatory authority responsible for monitoring and regulating the corporate governance of listed companies. Then we have ICA, which is the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. It is responsible for issuing guidelines and standards, thereby directing the pathway of disclosing financial data. Then we have Institute of Company Secretariats of India. It is responsible for issuing the secretarial standards primarily in terms of board of directors meetings and general meetings. Then we have Ministry of Corporate Affairs for regulating the functioning of the corporate sector in accordance with the law. Now, next topic of today's discussion is the regulation of the crypto assets. So, it is the G20 countries adopted. They adopted the New Delhi Leaders Declaration, which called for effective regulation of crypto assets. What is need for the regulation of crypto assets is protect the consumers from fraud and other financial crimes, largely unregulated asset class, to foster greater stability and reliability in the crypto market, ensuring consistency in broader financial and economic policies, then address issues such as tax avoidance, money laundering, and terrorist financing.
About crypto regulations in India, we have legal provisions. At present, the exchange, transfer, safe keeping or administration of cryptocurrencies is under the ambit of the Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2002. This would require all entities dealing with crypto to implement mandatory KYC process reports suspicious activities and require financial entities, crypto companies to maintain client details for 5 years. Then we have RBI stance. RBI has on several occasions voiced its concerns about crypto assets, saying that these assets threaten financial stability. In 2013, RBI issued a statement cautioning users, holders, and traders of virtual currencies, including cryptocurrencies, about the potential risks associated with their use. In 2017, RBI cautioned users, holders, and traders of virtual currencies using Bitcoin regarding various risks associated in dealing with such virtual currencies. Then in 2018, RBI issued a circular prohibiting banks and other regulated entities from providing services to individuals or businesses dealing in cryptocurrencies. The circular effectively made it illegal for Indian residents to buy or sell cryptocurrencies. Also, in 2020, the ban was overturned by the Supreme Court, stating that it was disproportionate and that it violated the fundamental rights of citizens. This decision effectively legalized the use of cryptocurrencies in India and opened the door for their wider adoption. So, about this slide, we had already discussed it earlier in the previous videos, so please do watch them also, you would find more information in them. Then regulatory frame in 2022, the Ministry of Finance released a report proposing the creation of a digital rupee, a state-backed cryptocurrency, as well as a framework for regulating private cryptocurrencies. The report also recommended the establishment of a digital currency regulatory authority to oversee the use of cryptocurrencies in India. About the tax regime in 2022, the Union budget for the first time officially classified digital assets, including cryptocurrency, as virtual digital assets. In the proposed tax regime, the government has announced a flat 30% income tax on the transfer of crypto assets. The center also announced another 1% tax deduction at source. Now, the global regulations of crypto assets. We have IMF FSB synthesis paper in the recently concluded G20 summit. The countries endorsed the report by the International Monetary Fund and the Financial Stability Board on risks and the framework for regulating crypto assets. This includes not banning the assets and creating reporting and licensing mechanism for the regulation of digital assets by 2025. Also, marketing crypto assets regulations framed by the European Union. It is the first cross-jurisdiction regulatory and supervisory framework for crypto assets. Now, the next topic of today's discussion is the digital inclusion in emerging technologies. Here, we could see that the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India has released a consultation paper on digital inclusion in the era of emerging technologies. It aims to explore and address the challenges and opportunities presented by the rapid advancement of emerging technologies, with a focus on ensuring inclusivity for all segments of society and industries, particularly micro, small, and medium enterprises. Importance of digital inclusion in emerging technology. We have extend the job market. Digital technologies provide job opportunities for individuals, especially in fields like data science, data engineering. As per the Future of Jobs report 2023 by the World Economic Forum, data analysts and scientists are expected a 30 to 35% increase in demand. Also, enhanced learning, digital inclusion, and online learning can bring down the cost of education, reduce the digital divide, etc. Technologies like augmented reality, virtual reality have enabled students to visualize events and experiments, thus making the learning process more active, effective, and meaningful. Inclusive workspace, digital inclusion improves workplace participation and bridges the gap between employment opportunities for men, women, and disabled employees. This empowers disabled and female workers to transcend limitations tied to part-time or low-skilled positions. Better pay wages, enhanced IT skills, and digital inclusion boost individual earning potential in the workforce and significantly contribute to business innovation and overall workforce productivity in tech-savvy professions. Also, in healthcare, digital inclusion can improve the accessibility, affordability, and quality of healthcare. It can facilitate clinical support, map and monitor the spread of infectious diseases, as well as track supplies of drugs and vaccines. For example, teleconsultations through the Sanjeevani platform touched 1 million during the pandemic, highlighting the importance of digital inclusion in medicine. About digital inclusion for micro, small, and medium enterprises, we have benefits of digitalization for MSMEs, reduce manual effort errors, and improve overall efficiency of MSMEs, increased reach of MSMEs through online portals like e-commerce websites to extend their consumer base and increase sales, easy access to finance through digital lending platforms like online marketplace and peer-to-peer lending platforms. Then we have efficient storing and managing data on customer. Then we have challenges. What are the challenges faced by the MSMEs? Poor affordability of internet, building trust with the online consumers and managing logistics, lack of knowledge and expertise to leverage digital technologies. Also, what are the initiatives undertaken in India for MSMEs? We have Udyam registration portal to register MSMEs businesses and access various government schemes, financial support and resource. Also, MSMEs Sampark digital platform connecting job seekers with the recruiters in the MSME sector. We have campaigns, creation, and harmonious application of modern process for increasing output and national strength scheme to promote use of modern technologies in MSMEs and provide them with necessary support to enhance their productivity and competitiveness. Then we have MSME Global Mart platform, which is business to business web portal, which helps MSMEs in market access through online presence by showcasing their products and services. Then we have Open Network for Digital Commerce. It aims to create new opportunities to curb digital monopolies and support MSMEs in their digitalization by enabling them to use digital commerce for their business operation. What are the initiatives taken with respect to digital inclusion in emerging technologies? First, for digital connectivity, we have Universal Service Obligation Fund established under Indian Telegraph Act 1885 to provide support for affordable access to reliable and uh, ubiquitous telecom network to remote and rural areas. Then we have BharatNet project, formerly known as National Optical Fiber Network, aimed to connect all gram panchayats and villages in the country by high-speed broadband connectivity using optical fiber cable. Then we have National Broadband Mission 2019. It aims to achieve availability of broadband connections and create digital fiber map of digital communications network and infrastructure, including optical fiber cables and towers throughout the country. Then we have Digital India program. Its vision is centered around three key vision areas, which is digital infrastructure, which includes high-speed internet, secure cyberspace as a core utility to every citizen. Then we have governance and services on demand. Then we have digital empowerment of citizens. For digital affordability, we have National Policy on Electronics 2019. It promotes domestic manufacturing and export of electronic devices, including smartphones, laptops, and tablets, and producing 1 billion mobile handsets by 2025. We have Design Liquid Initiative scheme. It offers financial incentives as well as design infrastructure support across various stages of development and deployment of semiconductor designs for integrated circuits, chipsets, etc. over a period of 5 years. We have for digital literacy, we have Pradhan Mantri Gramin Digital Sakshatra Abhiyan. It aims to digitally literate 60 million people from 14 to 60 years age from rural areas by training them to operate computer or digital access devices, tablets, smartphones, send and receive emails, etc. Then we have digital skilling program. It focuses on skilling, reskilling and upskilling students via internships, apprenticeship and employment to 1 crore students in emerging technologies. Now, the next article of today's discussion is managing food inflation in India. Here we could see that the Indian Council for Research and International Economic Relations has estimated that banning cereal exports has cost farmers at least 45,000 crore in 2023. As we banned cereals, so it it is estimated that it costed for 45,000 crore for farmers. About all India consumer price index, here we would see the value of every main weightage of different items in it. We have for food and beverage we have 45. It contains 45.9%. For tobacco or intoxicants it is 2.4%. For clothing and wear it contains 6.5%. For fuel and light 6.8%. For housing 10%. And other miscellaneous it contains 28.8%. About food inflation in India, we have retail inflation was at 6.83% with food inflation at 9.2% in August 2023. It is measured by the year-on-year consumer price index. The recent inflation is largely because of the impact of rising food prices as food and beverages carries 45.9% weight in the CPI market. Major contributors to current food inflation include tomatoes, onions, cereals, wheat and rice, spices, and milk and dairy products. Also, wheat inflation is partly due to domestic factors like heat waves and unseasonal rains, and partly as a result of international price transmission due to issues like Russia-Ukraine war. Then here we could see the factors affecting India's food inflation in long term. We have monsoon variability. Then we have global commodity price includes food as well as crude oil prices. Then we have government policies, for example, MSP policy. Then we have infrastructural availability such as storage and distribution system. Then we have exchange rate fluctuations. It affects agri trade and thus agri prices. Then we have outbreak of pests and disease can affect crop yields and prices. Here we would see the graph how it went from 2019, how low it was, then in 2020 it reached its peak, then again it started to balance, but in 2023 onwards it is again creeping up. About government measures to manage food inflation, we have export restriction. These include export ban, export duty, and imposition of minimum support export price. Some recent measures include imposition of the export ban on wheat, broken rice, and non-basmati rice, export duty of 20% on parboiled rice, and a 40% export duty levied on onions. Then we have stock limits, imposition of stock limits on wheat trades and millers. Then we have buffer stocks. The government maintains buffer stock and offloads from it under the open market sales scheme. Then we have food security scheme. Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana was launched to provide free food grains to more than 80 crore beneficiaries. Then we have direct support to farmers. Support is provided through subsidies, income support, and procurement at minimum support price. Then we have supply side measures improving agriculture productivity, marketing strategic reserves, promoting diversification and value addition. Now, the next article of today's discussion is the digitalization of agriculture. The G20 Delhi Declaration has committed to promote responsible, sustainable, and inclusive use of digital technology by farmers and an ecosystem of agri-tech startups and MSMEs. About data, 40% of contribution of for mechanization in India, and in US it is 95%, in Brazil it is 75%, and in China it is 57%. About digitalization of agriculture, it is integration of cutting-edge digital technologies into the farm production system, including artificial intelligences, robotics, unmanned aviation systems, sensors, and communication networks. It is referred as digitalization of agriculture. It's about the significance of digitalization of agriculture across the agricultural value chain. Input supply helps to optimize the inputs resources like fertilizers, pesticides, water, etc. at the right time. For example, use of AI with agricultural data production increase operational efficiency and decreases production costs of farming due to reduced manpower. requirement and labor hours. For example, submission on agriculture mechanization, summon. Then we have trading. Right price for the produce is obtained by elimination of middlemen, thereby increasing the profitability. For example, indan. Then we have warehousing aids scientific decision making in farming activities, which will reduce burdens of crop loss or failure, low yield pests attacks, etc. Then improved governance, better agriculture governance by using agriculture data gathered across the country for the welfare of farmers and citizens. For example, National E-Governance Plan in Agriculture and, and India Digital Ecosystem of Agriculture Framework. Then social benefits bridges the gender gap through promotion of woman-centric innovation, enabling them to involve in agricultural activities at par with males. For example, PM Kisan mobile app. About digitalization of agriculture across its value, we could see farm harvest collection center to packing to transportation to processing plant to transport to retail outlet customer to customer database server. Here, all this it is all integrated. Farmer farm harvest unique ID code generated data captured include geolocation, uh, farmer farm and crop information certification, contact details, registration number. In the collection center we have records produce details, for example, farmer name, variety, date storage, date, storage area, and quantity. In packing, we have labeling of produce number, ID, weight. Then in transportation, we have logistic details, transport management. What latest initiatives in digitalization of agriculture? We have unified portal for agricultural statistics. Um, It is an advanced agricultural data management platform designed to generate crop estimates and integrate with other systems, generating agriculture statistics such as price, trade, procurement, stock, etc. Then we have Kisan Rin portal, offers a comprehensive view of farmer data, loan disbursement, specifies interest, subventions, claims, and fosters seamless integration with banks for more focused and efficient agricultural credit. Then we have weather information network data system, Wind's manual leverages advanced weather data analytics to provide stakeholders with actionable insights on weather and empowers farmers, policymakers, and various agricultural entities to make well-informed choices. Then we have YesTech. It is a technology-driven yield estimation system offering methodologies, best practices, and integration insights for accurate yield assessment at the Gram Panchayat level. Then we have National E-Governance Plan in Agriculture, a centrally sponsored scheme under Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare, aims to achieve rapid development in India through use of modern technologies in agriculture. Then we have the next topic. It is National Logistics Policy. Here, India recently marked the first year anniversary of the National Logistics Policy. About logistics sector in India, logistics it means the transportation and handling of goods between points of production and consumption, storage, value addition, and allied services. The logistics information comprises port stations, multimodal logistics parks, warehouses connected by roads, railways, shipping, inland waterways, air routes, pipelines, etc. Key aspects. Value of Indian logistics sector in 2022 was 259.5 billion. It is the in world's logistics performance index. Our rank is 38th. 13 to 14 of GDP is the cost of India's logistics sector. About National Logistics Policy, NLP it was introduced in September 2022 to promote seamless flow of goods across the country and improve Indian goods competitiveness in domestic as well as global market. Its vision is to drive economic growth through an integrated, seamless, efficient, reliable, green, sustainable, and cost-effective logistics network by leveraging best-in-class technology, process, and skilled manpower. Targets of a national logistics policy is a reduce cost of logistics in India to global benchmarks by 2030, improve the logistics performance index ranking and be among top 25 countries by 2030, create data-driven decision support mechanism for a logistics ecosystem. Also, implementation of the national logistics policy through a comprehensive logistics action plan, which consists of interventions divided into specific action areas, including eight action areas of CLAP are integrated digital logistics system, standardization of physical assets and benchmarking service quality standards. Then we have logistics, humans, resource development and capacity building. Then we have state engagement. Then we have export import logistics. We have service improvement framework, sector plan for efficient logistics. Then we have facilitation of development of logistics parks. Progress under NLP so far we have digitalization use of unified logistics interface platform, the database platform which integrates 34 logistics related digital systems including GST data across departments. Uh, Over 614 industry players have registered on unified logistics interface platform. 106 private companies have signed non-disclosure agreements. Then we have export-import logistics. A comprehensive port connectivity plan was developed to address last and first mile infrastructure gaps under it. 60 projects of Ministry of Road Transport and Highways and 47 ministries of railways. Then we have state engagement. All 47 Ministry of Highways have been sanctioned to improve last mile connectivity to ports. Then in state engagement to bring holistic focus on logistics in policy, in public policy at state level, state duties are developing state logistics plans aligning with NLP. 22 states have notified their logistics policies so far. Then we have issues with grievance redressal, ease of logistics services, e-logs portal aims to use technology platform to improve good governance and stakeholder outreach in the logistics sector. Around 29 business associations have been empaneled so far. Role of states in the logistic policy implementation, it is to create a dedicated agency for the development of logistics in the state and provide better coordination between departments for providing single window clearances to identify local logistics infrastructure requirement for creation of logistic zone, warehouses, expressways, etc. to achieve last mile connectivity, to create quality storage facilities according to the landscape and local industrial requirements, to provide impetus to the industries in the form of subsidies like capital interest subsidy, stamp duty subsidy, etc. Also to integrate quality data from various states' master plan for better and wider adoption of logistics policy initiatives like PM Gati Shakti, and also to enable area-based development and for gap identification project planning etc. at grassroots level. Now let's come to the next topic. It is inland waterways. Indian water transport is a fuel efficient, environment friendly and cost effective mode of transport. India has about 14,500 kilometers of navigable waterways comprising backwaters, creeks, etc., rivers, canals. As per constitutional provisions, only those waterways which are declared as national waterways come under the purview of the central government, while the rest of the waterways remain in the purview of the respective state governments. About Inland Waterway Authority of India, it comes under the Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways. It was set up as a statutory body in 1986 under the Inland Waterways Authority of India Act 1985. Its mandate is to conduct surveys, techno-economic feasibility for developing inland water transport mode, development and regulation of national waterways for shipping and navigation, regulation of traffic coordination with other modes of transport for movement on the national waterways, and also assist and advise central and state government on matters relating to inland water transport. Here are some important national waterways which we should know. National Waterway 1, we have Ganga Bhagirathi Hooghly River System, Haldia to Allahabad. We should know that the National Waterway 1 is Ganga Bhagirathi Hooghly River System. Then we have National Waterway 2, it is Brahmaputra River
Dubri Sadia. Then we have National Waterway 3, which is West Coast Canal, Kotapuram to Kolam, Champakaram and Udyog Mandal canals. Then we have National Water 4, Krishna River, Vijayawada to Muktayala. Then we have National Waterway 5, which is Damra Paradio via Mangala Gadi to Pankopal. Now the next and last topic of today's discussion is PM Vishwakarma scheme. Here we could see that the Prime Minister launched PM Vishwakarma scheme for traditional artisans and craftsmen on occasion of Vishwakaram Jayanti. About PM Vishwakarma scheme, it envisages to provide end-to-end holistic support to the traditional artisans and crafts people in scaling up of their conventional products and services. Its objective is to enable recognition of artisans and craftspeople as Vishwakarma, to provide incentives for digital transaction, to encourage digital empowerment of Vishwakarmas, to provide a platform for brand promotion and market linkage to help them access new opportunities for growth. Type, it is a central sector scheme. Its duration is from financial year 23-24 to financial year 27-28. It comes under its nodal ministry is Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. Then scheme will be jointly administered by Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, the Ministry of Skill Development and Enterprises, and the Department of Financial Services under the Ministry of Finance. And under registration free of charge through Common Services Center using a biometric based PM Vishwakarma portal. About recognition, artisans and craftspeople will be provided a recognition through the PM Vishwakarma certificate and ID card. Approach, strengthen and nurture the Guru Shishya Parampara, or a family based practice of traditional skills. It was rolled out in rural and urban areas with a focus on saturating districts in a phased manner. About eligibility criteria, an artisan or craftsperson working with hands and tools and engaged in one of the recognized family-based traditional trades with minimum age of 18 years. Here we have 18 traditional traders. We have carpenters, bootmakers, armorer, blacksmith, hammer and tool kit maker, locksmith, goldsmith, potter, sculptor, murtikar, stone carver, stone breaker, cobbler, charmkar, shoesmith, footwear artisan, mason, basket, mat, broom maker, coir maker. Then we have doll and toy maker, traditional, barber, garland maker, washerman, tailor, darzi, fishing net maker. These are the 18 traditional traders who will get benefit through this scheme. Here beneficiary, we should, there are last few important points in it. The beneficiary should not have availed loans under similar credit based schemes of central government or state governments for self employment, business development, for example PMEGP, PM Nidhi Mudra in the past 5 years. Also, government employee and their family members are not eligible for it. Benefits under the scheme shall be restricted to one member of the family. Under the scheme, a family is defined as consisting of the husband, wife, and unmarried children. Required documents or information like Aadhaar, mobile number, bank details, ration cards, and also lending institutes, scheduled commercial banks, regional rural banks, small finance banks, cooperative banks, NBFCs, and microfinance institutions. So I hope this information would be beneficial for you, and I hope you stayed with me till this time. And I wish best of luck to you guys. May you succeed in your exams and may you do the best. And also, you know, please do stay with me, do subscribe this channel. Your subscription, it encourages me to make videos in a better way. Right now I'm trying, you know just to give you the information, but from 1st July our, you know Our target would be 2025 UPSC IAS exam. So I hope whoever would be with me, he would qualify in that prelims as well as mains, then in interview. So best of luck to you guys. Stay blessed. Have a good life. Thanks for staying with me. Oh, sorry, we have one more slide here. Other such initiatives of artisans, we have National Handicraft Development Program by the Ministry of Textiles, which provides support to the handicraft clusters and artisans. We have Comprehensive Handicraft Cluster Development Scheme by the Ministry of Textiles, which aims to mobilize the artisans into self-help groups, thrift and credit training of SHGs for community business enterprises. We have Pehchan scheme by the Ministry of Textiles to provide a new identity to handicraft artisans so that the benefits of various schemes are provided to the deserving artisans. Other schemes upgrading the skills and training in traditional art crafts for development, scheme of fund for regeneration of traditional industries, etc.